to my channel. It is the life of Jasmine, and I'm back with another video. So today I am back with a story time for you guys. Before we get into this video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at official.jasmine. Here's my Instagram page, and that's Jasmine with 2 N's, by the way, not 1 but 2. As I'm doing this little story time, I'm gonna be eating me some carrots, y'all. Carrots and ranch. Cause your girl need a snack, okay? I need a snack. So yeah, let me take a bite out of that first.
Boy, if you don't get
so good. Okay. So, first things first, this video is gonna be a story time about when I found out I was pregnant, how I found out, how did I feel about it, how did like my loved ones feel about it and stuff like that. And I'm also touch on like my first trimester and like how I was feeling, my symptoms, etc. So yeah, let's get right into it. I found out, I don't remember the exact date, but I know I found out like sometime the beginning of February. I'm into the exact date because it was, if I'm not mistaken, the first clip in my last video that I posted, that was when I was on my way to the appointment when I like officially found out. But when I took the pregnancy test, it had to be like 2 or 3 days before that. So yeah, let me jump into the pregnancy test. So this, like the last week of December was the last time I had my period, y'all. The last time. And as y'all seen before, in January, I only posted 1 video in January, I believe, or a couple videos. But the last video I posted in January, before my last video, was our anniversary video. We went out, we had so much fun that day. It was so lit. And then, yeah, like that was like the last time I really posted. So usually the way my menstrual cycle worked is literally I would get it like the last week of each month. So the last week of January come, y'all, it was time for me to get my period. And you know, I'm a girl, so I had a period tracker app, and I was looking, like I was preparing for the day for it to come, and it didn't come. So in my mind, I'm just like, you know, maybe it's like a day off, because sometimes it does happen where it's like a day or 2 off, like, you know, it may switch up. So I'm like, maybe it's just one of those. So my boyfriend was like, no, I think you're pregnant. Which I didn't think anything of, because every time like my period is off schedule, he just says that. So I'm like, no, I'm not. So 3 days go past, couple days go past, and I still didn't get my period, y'all. So then close to like a week ends up coming up that I didn't get it. And I do, well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people do. I looked up on Google, and I looked up like between the time, like, you know, you don't get your period, like what happened, like what does it mean if you don't get your period a week after like you're supposed to get it? And y'all, the first thing that was coming up on my Google search was, you need to take a pregnancy test, you're probably pregnant. Like it was just pregnancy. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I told my boyfriend to go to the store and get me a test, and he did, like ASAP. And I had took it. I wanted to take it in the morning because I heard, like, you know, like it's supposed to be like if you take it in the morning, like fresh in the morning, it's more accurate, blah blah. So I took it in the morning, the next morning, and the way I took it was, I don't know if this is TMI, but oh well. But the way I took it was, I, you know, peed in a cup, and I got the sticks, and I just stuck the sticks inside. I stuck one of the sticks inside, and then I set it out. I laid it on the bathroom counter, and I waited, and then one line showed up, and then a faded line showed up. So I didn't know what that meant. So I'm like, okay, let me just take another one. Maybe it's like an error. So did again, the same thing happened, but the line was like a little bit more noticeable, but it was still faded. So I told my boyfriend, and he was like, I don't know what that means either. He was like, but I kind of think it means that you're pregnant because you can see the line a little bit. And I'm like, I don't know. So I asked one of my friends that has a child, and she's like, girl, you're pregnant. I'm like, she's like, you know that you're pregnant. I'm like, no, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what it means. You can barely see the line. So yeah, strawberry lemonade from Wendy's, a hit. But so then he had asked one of his cousins that has a kid, and she was like, yeah, a couple miles came out like that, like, yeah, you're pregnant. So I didn't even want, like, the anticipation. Like, don't get me wrong, in that moment I was worried, but the anticipation of, like, me thinking I was pregnant just wasn't there yet. I didn't want to get my hopes high. I didn't want all my emotions to flow until I knew, like, for sure. So what I did was I looked up on Google, like, in my area, some, like, pregnancy clinics or clinics I could go to that I can get, like, one of those, like, real tests. Somebody that can actually verbally out their mouth tell me that I'm pregnant. So I had to wait. I think it was a Thursday, and that was like the first clip. That was the first clip of my last video when I was going to the place to find out. And I believe that's what that was. Yeah, I believe that's what that was. Yeah, so we went there, and because of like COVID and stuff, they wouldn't allow my boyfriend in the actual waiting room. So I waited in there. I signed all the forms or whatever. And they took me to the back. They asked me all these questions and stuff, like asking me, you know, like the typical questions, like if you are pregnant, like what are you gonna decide to do? You're gonna keep the baby, blah, blah, blah. It was an automatic yes for me. Like, even though I was surprised to be in that situation, like my mindset or like my beliefs just was never gonna go to not having the baby. Like, that just was never in my mind. She ends up bringing him to the back. Like, she gets him out the car, and she's like, she brings us to the back where I am. So now we're both sitting there, and she told us, because they had me, like, they had to test my urine in a cup. So while they were doing that, like running tests or whatever they do, they told us, like, you know, we're gonna go check on the test, get the results, and we'll come back to the room. So we're sitting in the room, and I'm nervous because I'm just nervous. Like, anybody that's ever been in that situation, I'm pretty sure it had the same feelings I was feeling, because so much was rushing through my mind. Like, we just moved to another state. Like, it was just so much rushing through my mind. Like, at that time period, like, this is really happening. Like, this is really happening. Not that it was a bad thing. It was just that, like, I just couldn't believe it. So the lady walks in the room, y'all, with a goodie bag. And I just immediately knew what the answer was, because you're not gonna walk in the room with a goodie bag with just telling us that we're not having a kid. So she walks in and she was like, well, congratulations, you're pregnant. So I'm like low-key shaking. I'm like freaking out. And when I get in uncomfortable or nervous situations, I tend to laugh. So, like, I'm just sitting there like, wow, like, this is wild. Like, this is wild. And meanwhile, my boyfriend's sitting next to me holding my hand. He's like freaking out, shaking, sweating, palm sweating, like happy. And I'm just like, wow, like, this is really real. Like, I'm really holding a child in me. I was just so shocked. Like, I don't know why, but I just didn't think it would, like, I just didn't think it could happen. I just didn't think it happened. So we get out of the place. He immediately tells his family, his friends, cousins, mom, dad, whatever. And then I come home, and I ain't gonna lie, I was hesitant to tell my people, but it had to be done, like, instantly. I didn't want to wait, because I just didn't want to wait. Like, that's just not the type of, this is not like, that's not the type of news that I would want to wait on, even though I was very scared. I called my mom and I was like, I was so scared, y'all. Like, it couldn't even come out of my mouth. Like, that's how scared I was. It literally couldn't come out of my mouth. And I was like, Mom, I gotta tell you something. She was like, what? Like, why are you acting all weird? I'm like, Mom, I have to tell you something. I was like, I can't say it. I can't say it. I'm gonna just text you. So as we're on FaceTime, she's working, by the way. As we're on FaceTime, I text her, like, I'm pregnant while we're on the phone. And she was like, you're lying. Like, you're pranking me. Like, you're lying. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, I'm so serious. And she's like, Jasmine, you're lying. I'm like, no, I'm serious. It's like, Mom, what am I gonna do? And she was like, I don't know. I gotta process this. Like, I gotta process this first. Like, hold on. I gotta process this. And I was like, well, okay. Well, let me call Dad. So as I tell her I'm gonna call my dad, I call my dad. I guess he was in the next room over from her. I call my dad, and he's like, why is your, like, I guess my mom had walked in the room, and she was just standing there, and he was like, why is your mom standing here staring at me? I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, Dad, I have something to tell you. Mind you, like 2 weeks before that, I was on the phone with my dad, and I wasn't feeling good. Like, I wasn't feeling good at all. And I told him, and my dad works at a high school. He works with kids, and he's a track coach. He works with girls. So he was telling me, like, Jasmine, like, when I wasn't feeling good, I was telling him, and he was like, do you need to go get one of those tests? And I was like, no, I don't need to. He was like, Jasmine, I work with girls every day. Like, you could tell me. And I'm like, no, like, there's no possible way that I'm pregnant. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine. Like, I know my body. I'm fine. He was like, okay. So back to when I told him, I was just like, Dad. And he was like, what, Jasmine? I was like, you already know. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, you know. Like, I'm like, you just brought it up like a week or 2 ago. Like, you know. And he was like, oh my God. Like, and it just, like, I told my brother thought I was playing with him, because if y'all go back on my channel, I pranked my brother telling him I was pregnant, but I like added a twist to it. So he thought I was doing it again, and I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I'm really pregnant. So that's how that went. And honestly, like, how I felt about it, like I said, I was happy, and I still am really happy. But it was just definitely life-changing for me, because, like I said, we had just moved to another state, like 6 months prior to, you know, finding out the news. And it was so much going through my mind, like, us being out here, and we have family out here, but just a select few. But it's not like our immediate family, like our mom, dads, grandmas, cousins, siblings, anything like that. They all are back in Chicago. So it's like, it was different. I'm like, I'm really finna have a child in another state. Like, what are we gonna do? And one thing our parents were saying, like, they immediately just thought we're moving back. They were like, oh, so y'all come back to Chicago? Like, y'all come back to Chicago? And we're like, no, like, we finna have our kid out here. And honestly, I still have those conversations with some of my family members and my dad. And they're just like, they really like want me to come back, or they strongly suggest it, because like they want us to have that support. Like, we're still gonna have support regardless, but it's just a simple fact that nobody can immediately get on the, like, it's different from just calling someone and they're up the street or just like 15 minutes away, whether it's, we'll probably call them and they have to catch a whole flight to come out here, you know? And not even just like so much as watching the baby, but just to even visit the baby. So it's gonna be a lot different to not having that family like right there in the same area. And they're just concerned, as parents, like, and family members should be. But like we always tell them, and like I always tell them, we came out here for a purpose. We came out here with a plan, and we're gonna stick it through. Like, regardless of, like, we didn't know this was gonna happen, but regardless of any type of bump in the road, like, this is just something that's just gonna have to ride with us, and we're gonna do whatever we can to stick it out. We're gonna do whatever we can to make it happen. We're gonna do whatever we can to accomplish our goals. This is just nothing but motivation. Like, this is just nothing but anything. Like, this is just something to keep us pushing harder than what we were gonna do, because now before our child comes, which is October 5th, it just gives us nothing but time to just keep pushing harder and harder and making sure that we have the best stability and the best, you know, situation for our kid. Like, we not taking no for an answer. Oh, we're gonna make it happen. Because one thing about me and my boyfriend, regardless of everything that we've been through, ups and downs, all the situations we face, we always make it out. And with God on our side, we're definitely gonna make it out. And yeah, so on to the first trimester symptoms. As I stated in my last video, again, sorry, they're playing music downstairs. Baby, you just like a storm. Okay. Anyway, so first trimester symptoms, y'all. Hectic, like really hectic. It was so bad for me. Like, when I mean I threw up everything, I don't even remember how many times I threw up a day, but if it was like 3 through 7 times a day, that's probably like the range of how much it was a day, because sometimes I would throw up like 3 times alone just in the morning, not even including the rest of the day. And it was like, I would find something, like I started drinking naked smoothies, for instance, and it would soothe my stomach, like it would ease everything out. And then all of a sudden, I started throwing that up. Like, every time I found something that soothed me, that made me feel better, it ended up didn't agreeing with my stomach anymore. Like, I started throwing up water, y'all. Like, the taste of water itself was so disgusting to me for a long time. And as y'all know, like, that's really not good, because you have to drink water, like, along your pregnancy. But it was so hard for me to drink it. Like, the taste of it was just so disgusting. So that was that. It was just so much that I was dealing with as far as that. And then I was dealing with just body pains, like body aches. But it was really coming from the, like, you know, the nausea and stuff like that, because when I was steady going to the bathroom throwing up, it was taking so much out of my body. Like, it was causing so much pain in my back, and it just was very uncomfortable and not something I ever want to deal with again. But as soon as I hit my second trimester, it's like I snapped right out of that. Like, I immediately snapped right out of that. And now I'm able to eat anything, except for, only thing I can say that I won't eat, and I don't know if I'm gonna throw it up. I don't know if I have thrown up in my second trimester, but I just won't eat it. It's noodles. I mean noodles as far as, like, not Alfredo noodles. For some reason, that really doesn't mess with me. But as far as like, okay, if, for instance, I go to Panda Express and I got, I usually get the, like, bowls or whatever with the chow mein. And every time I've had it, I throw up those noodles. And I really just thought it was Panda Express for a period of time. But I make spaghetti as well. And I was throwing up spaghetti noodles, like full-blown throwing up the noodles. So I don't even eat that anymore, y'all. And that's kind of disheartening, because I love making me some spaghetti, and I make some fire-ass spaghetti. So yeah, it just doesn't agree with me anymore, and like, I can't eat it. Like, that's the only thing I really can't eat right now. But that's not, you know, that's not really much. Everything else, honey, I be eating. My son and her, we be eating, okay? What I can say, as far as like the symptoms now, is obviously food. I'm always hungry, y'all. Like, well, I mean always hungry. I'm always freaking hungry. And then I'm honestly always really tired as well. Like, I could wake up in the morning, a couple hours go past, eat, and then a couple hours go past, I'm tired. Like, I'll be out somewhere, I'm really drained, I'm really tired, come back home, sleep, wake up, and I'm really tired. All right, just a couple days ago, I had came home and I went to sleep at like 4 o'clock, woke up at 8 o'clock at night, only stayed up for like an hour, ate, and went back to sleep, and didn't wake up till the next morning. So like, I be getting my sleep. Like, I be really getting my sleep. And honestly, like, one thing I can really say is I really appreciate my boyfriend, because y'all don't understand. Like, I used, like, okay, during my first trimester, I used to cook. Well, no, before my first trimester, before I was even pregnant, I used to cook almost every day. Like, damn near every day. Like, I really tried to cook every day. And, you know, once in my first trimester, it's just like my body wouldn't allow me to do so much. Like, I was literally always in the bed. It was so hard for me to do a lot of stuff, but I'm not gonna lie, like, ever since I was dealing with that stuff, like, he really picked up my slack. Like, he picked it up every day. Like, he was making me breakfast every morning, make sure I eat every morning. Even if I had to throw it up, he was making me breakfast because he knew I had to eat something. He was always checking up on me, always leaving out to go get something. My main drink right now throughout my whole entire pregnancy has been apple juice. So he'll go to the store, buy me a bunch of apple juices, or go to Publix and give me a big old gallon of apple juice. And it's just like continuously like giving and caring. Like, when I was throwing up every day, he was beside me, behind me, rubbing my back, telling me it's gonna be okay, ask me if I'm okay, what do I need? Do you need a hot towel? Do you need a bath? Like, what do you need? So I really do appreciate that, because I just don't know what I would do without that support. Like, even from my mom, both of my parents, like, it's just been so much support that I've been getting. Like, my mom, she's been sending me so many books and stuff that I need. She sent me a pregnancy pillow. Like, she's been sending me all these books teaching me what women go through throughout their first pregnancy and labor and afterbirth and all of that type of stuff. And it's like, I'm really educating myself. I'm really getting to know like what it is I need to learn about this whole entire process. And I have a huge support system but around me, and everybody around me that doesn't let me do too much either. Like, he don't even like me doing a lot. Like, if we go to the grocery store, I can't carry nothing. But that was before I was even pregnant. Like, he didn't even let me carry grocery bags. But like, now it's like, no, you're not carrying nothing. No, you need to be well rested. And to me, it's hard because I always feel like I have to be moving around. But a lot of people tell me, like, throughout this pregnancy or throughout pregnancy period, you have to take this time to like really care about yourself, really relax, really enjoy yourself, really get real rested, and just, you know, it's okay to be lazy sometimes when you're pregnant, because you need that. Like, you need that rest, because when that baby comes, it's gonna be hard to get a lot of rest. So one thing I want to touch on as well is, y'all, it's just something about, I'm pretty sure everybody knows this, but okay, y'all, my cravings are so bad. It's to a point where like I be craving foods that are not even here. Like, don't get me wrong, it's amazing food where I live. Like, but the really good food is in the city of Atlanta. I don't live, like, we live in a suburb, and in my area it's good restaurants. It's like really good restaurants, like high-end restaurants. But you know, it's different back at home, because I was just telling my boyfriend the other day, like, when you live back at home, like, if I was in Chicago right now, I would know where to go. Like, I would know what corner store to go to give me a bag of hot flamers or hot country curls with some cheese, some meat, and some jalapenos. Or I would know what street to go to give me some Mexican corn. I would know a restaurant to go to give me Italian beef. Like, it's like specific places, like, you know. And we, like, the area that we live in, we're still adjusting to like what places are good and what places aren't good. And still, like, every place has like their hood places, like they hood, you know, snacks or whatever and stuff like that. But we just haven't got that yet. Like, we don't know like what they got out here that's good, or like what's they knickknacks to get. And it's kind of frustrating sometimes, because I've been missing it so bad. And Snapchat memories don't make it no better. I swear they don't, because it'll be coming up in my story like, this time last year I had some Mexican corn. This time last year I had a beef. Like, just the other day I seen a beef. I'm gonna post it. It's the other day I seen a beef from Skechers on my Snapchat story, and I was just like, wow, like, I miss that type of food. Like, my cravings are bad now, but if I was still living in Chicago, they would be 10 times worse. Like, y'all don't even understand. The other day, we actually when we took my mom to the airport, we went to Red Snapper, which is also a restaurant in Chicago, but there's one by the airport in Atlanta, and we went and they had a whole little section of like Chicago style food. And y'all, they beef hit, like, it really honestly made me feel like I was back at home. Like, I had the Italian beef, well dipped, extra cheese. Like, it was so good, y'all. Like, y'all don't even understand how good it was. And it just made me miss home so much. Because don't get me wrong, the beef was good. It just, like, wasn't Chicago beef. Like, but it was good, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. And it had mild sauce. It had mild sauce, and it tasted so freaking good. Like, so good. That's another thing that I miss. They don't really have mild sauce where I live, or a lot around Georgia. They don't really have mild sauce, but they have a Sharks by my house. And a couple months ago, we went there to get some chicken. And on the sign, it clearly says Sharks Chicago, like Chicago style. They give me the chicken, give me some buffalo sauce. And I'm like, excuse me, like, can I get some mild sauce? She was like, oh, I gave you mild sauce. I'm like, no, you gave me like buffalo sauce. Like, the sauce was orange. It clearly wasn't mild sauce. So she was like, oh, you must be talking about Chicago mild sauce. Like, we don't have that. And it just was such a turn off. Like, y'all don't even understand. It was such a turn off because, like, little do they know, mild sauce is supposed to go on every chicken, every fryer, any type of fried chicken or fry that you eat. You're supposed to have mild sauce. Like, that's just what it is. But coming in August, I won't tell y'all the exact day yet. I know the exact day, but I'm not gonna release it yet. We're having our baby shower in Chicago, which should be very, very fun because we get to see our family and our friends, of course. But y'all, when I mean I'm gonna hit up every food spot, and I swear to y'all, I'm taking y'all everywhere with me because I'm gonna eat so much. Like, I've been wanting to Taco Burrito King. If you don't know what it is, you just missing out. I really miss Taco Burrito King. Their burritos are so fire. It's just so many places I need to hit up when I go back, and it's gonna hurt me to leave. But me and my son, really my son, he needs to try it because he ain't never tried it before. But I'm trying to think, is there anything else I need to tap on before I end this video? As far as like stuff that I can't do, I can say it's a little hard to adjust to because it's my first go around, and it be stuff that I don't even be thinking about that I can't do. Like, for the longest, I was talking about going to Six Flags, y'all, and then had to realize, like, what am I gonna do there? I can't get on the roller coasters, so what am I gonna do at Six Flags? But of course, they have water parks and stuff, so I can go there, but I can't get on like the slides or anything. I'll just sit in Lazy River, but it's like so much that I can't do. But even though I'm not even a huge drinker, we had family in town a couple weeks ago. Or just last week. It was just last week. I was talking about a couple weeks ago. We had family in town. You know, they were here, they were having drinks, whatever. And it's just like, usually that's me. Like, I'm able to take a shot with y'all, da da da. Or if we go out to eat, I'll be liking to have my fruity drinks or whatever. And it's like, I can't do that. Like, I really have to wait till I'm like done. And I'm breastfeeding as well, so I'm gonna have to wait till after the fact because I'm gonna be breastfeeding. Like, I can't add all those toxins in my baby. Like, so the next time I'll be able to like drink, do anything, it's gonna be like next year. Yeah, next year. But it's for a good cause, so I'm not really tripping for real. But sometimes, if I'm being honest with y'all, I do get irritated. And lastly, what I want to tap in on is, y'all, like, throughout this pregnancy, like I mentioned, I do my research a lot. I research a lot of stuff as far as like labor and delivery and stuff like that. And I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I feel like I be scaring myself, but I really feel like I'm also preparing myself for what's gonna happen. And you know, I ask questions a lot from people who have had kids, and I'm always asking people like, did you get an epidural? Like, did it hurt? Did you have long-term effects? Because if you look it up, there's some people that say that, you know, it was the best thing they could have ever did, but then some people also say, you know, it gave them long-term effects in their back, like back problems and stuff like that, or the doctor put it in wrong, just scary stuff like that. And honestly, I just came to the conclusion that I just have to, you know, pray and believe in God and believe that whatever doctor I have that's gonna go through this process with me as far as delivering my child is gonna do the best that they can, and I'm gonna be okay. Whether if I need it or not, I'm not gonna go into it saying, oh, I want one, but I'm gonna try to stick it out, and if I need one, then so be it. But I do want to have a natural birth. And y'all, we're not gonna talk about them labor videos because I know it's different for everybody, but some of them women be screaming to the top of their lungs. Like, some of them be literally saying like they feel like they're gonna die. And I don't take pain well at all. Y'all gonna see that too though. I'm gonna record my whole labor process, so y'all gonna see everything. I'm gonna keep y'all posted on everything along with this pregnancy. I'm gonna do another video talking about my cravings, showing y'all my cravings. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep y'all updated. Like, I'm gonna have a lot of fun videos coming up, just a lot of challenges and stuff like that, possibly some pranks, but it's gonna be a lot of videos coming up. I'm so excited to bring y'all along with me. And I also want to say thank you so much for showing me so much love in my last video. Like, y'all really turned that video up, and I just want to say thank you so much for that. So make sure you guys get this video up. Make sure you guys tell a friend and tell a friend to subscribe to my channel, because if you're not subscribed to me, then what are you doing? Like, what are you doing not subscribed to Life of Jasmine? I'm just trying to figure it out, because we live over here, we chill over here, we don't do too much, we chill. So before we end this video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and follow me on Instagram at official.jasmine with 2 N's, not 1 but 2. And thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye, loves.